The vast exploration vessel Starseeker drifted silently through the darkness of space. Its sleek hull reflected the distant starlight as it approached an uncharted solar system at the edge of the Orion Arm. On the main bridge, Captain Tay stood, perfectly still, his eyes fixed on the large viewing screen that showed a small blue-green planet. "Captain, we have unusual signals coming from the third planet," said Science Officer Sun. Her slender fingers moved quickly across the control panel as she analyzed the data. Captain Tay nodded slowly. In his 200 years of exploration for the Galactic Council, he had visited countless worlds, but something about this planet caught his attention in a way others hadn't. "What kind of signals?" he asked, moving closer to Sun's station. "They appear to be broadcasts, radio waves, digital transmissions. Definitely artificial in origin," she replied. "The civilization seems to be in an early development stage but progressing rapidly." First Officer Du looked concerned. "The Council protocols are very clear about primitive worlds, Captain. We should record our findings and move on." Captain Tay didn't respond immediately. The Galactic Council had strict rules about contact with developing species. Most young civilizations followed predictable patterns of growth, taking thousands of years to advance from basic technology to space travel. The Council preferred to wait until species were ready before revealing the larger galactic community. "Send a probe to gather more detailed information," Tay ordered. "I want to know more about these beings before we report back." The small probe launched silently from the Starseeker, entering the planet's atmosphere undetected. For 3 days, the crew gathered data about the world called Earth and its inhabitants, the humans. Medical Officer Jin reviewed the biological scans with growing surprise. "Captain, you need to see this," she called out during the 4th day of observation. "These humans have remarkable biological traits. Their ability to recover from injury exceeds Council standards by a significant margin." Cultural Officer Min added his own findings. "They create art about imagined futures among the stars. They dream of meeting other life forms. But also," he paused, looking troubled, "they have a history of conflict unlike anything I've seen before." "That's not unusual for young species," Captain Tay said. "What is unusual," Min continued, "is how quickly they recover from these conflicts. Cities destroyed in their wars are rebuilt in just years, not centuries. Their technological development is accelerating at an alarming rate." During the next week, the crew watched events unfold on the planet below. A massive storm devastated a coastal region, but within days the humans had organized massive relief efforts. A technical problem threatened their primitive space station, but they solved it with limited tools and remarkable creativity. "They adapt so quickly," Engineer Kang noted as they watched humans create a solution that even he found clever. "Most species would take generations to develop that kind of thinking." Captain Tay called his senior officers to a meeting on the 10th day. "We need to decide our next steps," he said. "Standard protocol says we should leave them alone for at least another 200 years. "I agree with protocol, First Officer," Du said firmly. "They're clearly not ready. They still fight among themselves. Their technology is primitive." Science Officer Sun disagreed. "But their rate of development is unlike anything in our records. At their current pace, they could achieve faster than light travel within just 50 years. "Impossible," scoffed Engineer Kang, though his expression showed he wasn't entirely convinced. Captain Tay stood by the viewing window, watching the blue planet turn slowly below them. "What concerns me isn't their technology," he said quietly. "It's their resilience. Most species we've encountered would take generations to recover from the setbacks these humans face regularly." Medical Officer Jin nodded. "Their biology is part of it. They evolved on a planet with higher gravity than most Council worlds, with extreme climate variations. They're physically stronger than they appear." After hours of debate, Captain Tay made his decision. "We will report to the Council and recommend first contact protocols be initiated. These humans are different. The galaxy should know about them before they discover the galaxy on their own." As the Starseeker prepared its transmission to the distant Galactic Council, Captain Tay recorded his personal log. "I believe we have discovered something rare today, a species with extraordinary potential. The Council has grown comfortable with slow, predictable development patterns, but these humans don't follow our normal models. They learn from failure instead of being defeated by it. They adapt at an alarming rate. They imagine possibilities before they can achieve them. The Seeker galaxy has not seen a species like this in 10,000 years. I fear we are not ready for them. The message was sent, setting in motion events that would forever change the balance of power among the stars. The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador June finished her report. The enormous circular room, with its high ceiling and representatives from 118 spacefaring civilizations, rarely experienced such complete quiet. The news about the humans had captured everyone's attention. These Terrans show unusual development patterns, June explained, her voice calm despite the importance of her message. Captain Tay's observation team believes they will achieve faster than light, travel within 50 years, not the 500 we typically expect from species at their technological stage. Senior Council member Gill, whose species had been among the first to travel between stars, leaned forward. What makes them so different? Many young civilizations show promise, then plateau for centuries. Ambassador June activated a holographic display showing scenes from Earth. They possess extraordinary adaptability. When faced with problems that would set back other species for generations, they find solutions in years or even months. They have a unique combination of competition and cooperation that drives rapid progress. The Council debated for 3 days before reaching their decision. Despite concerns from the more conservative members, they voted to initiate first contact. Ambassador Jun would lead the diplomatic mission, with specialists chosen for their experience with emerging civilizations. Remember, Jun told her team as their ship approached Earth, we represent the entire galactic community. Our actions will shape humanity's first impression of life beyond their world. The team decided that appearing at the United Nations, where representatives from Earth's nations gathered, would cause the least panic. They spent weeks practicing human languages and studying Earth customs to minimize misunderstandings. On a clear morning in September, their diplomatic shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere, its advanced cloaking technology hiding it until the final moment. As planned, it appeared above the United Nations building in New York, causing immediate chaos in the streets below. Inside the General Assembly, world leaders watched in stunned silence as Ambassador June and her team materialized on the main floor. Security personnel rushed forward but stopped when they realized the visitors made no threatening moves. People of Earth, June said in careful English, her translator helping her form the unfamiliar sounds. We come in peace as representatives of the Galactic Council, a community of civilizations from across the stars. We have observed your world and believe the time has come to welcome you to the greater galactic family. The initial shock gave way to a flurry of questions, demands for proof, expressions of disbelief, and even some fear. Jun had expected this reaction, but what surprised her was how quickly the humans moved from shock to practical concerns. What are your intentions? Toward Earth? Asked one leader. Do other alien species know about us? Asked another. Will you share your technology? Questioned a third. June answered each question carefully, explaining that the Council had strict rules about technology transfer to protect developing worlds from advancing too quickly for their social structures to adapt. Dr. Moon, the mission's cultural specialist, whispered to June. They're adapting to our presence faster than our models predicted. Most species need days or weeks to process first contact. Within hours, Earth's media was broadcasting the news worldwide. While some reacted with fear or disbelief, most humans showed remarkable curiosity and excitement. Scientists eagerly requested meetings with the alien delegation. Government leaders quickly formed a special contact committee. Professor Seo, a brilliant linguist, particularly impressed the visitors. Within just 2 days, she had begun to understand the Council's common language without relying on translation devices. When Jun commented on her quick progress, Seo simply shrugged. Humans are good at patterns, she said. It's how we've survived. As the first week of contact progressed, June's team noticed troubling signs. The humans processed new information much faster than expected. They asked insightful questions about Council technology that revealed deep understanding of concepts they should have found completely foreign. During a private meeting with Earth's newly formed Contact Committee, Jun explained the structure of the Galactic Council and humanity's potential future role. One delegate asked about the Council's defense capabilities, a question Jun carefully deflected. Later, Dr. Moon approached Jun with concern. They're not reacting like any species we've encountered before. They're already thinking about how this changes their position in the universe, asking about Council politics, defense systems, trade agreements. Most species take years to reach this stage. Jun nodded. I've noticed. And have you seen how long they work without rest? The human delegation has been meeting with us for 16 hours today. That night, Jun sent an urgent private message to the Council. First contact proceeding, but with unexpected developments. Humans adapting to our presence at unprecedented rates. They ask questions that reveal a concerning strategic mindset. They appear physically fragile but show remarkable endurance. Recommend caution in technology sharing. These Terrans are unlike any species we have encountered in recent history. As she finished her report, Jun looked out the window at the New York skyline, filled with primitive but impressive structures. She couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy was about to change in ways the Council wasn't prepared for. 6 months after first contact, the Galactic Council approved a formal cultural exchange program. 5 humans would visit the Council homeworld, while Council representatives would stay on Earth to learn more about human society. Both sides viewed this as a critical step in building understanding between Earth and the wider galactic community. Commander Ju led the human delegation. As their ship approached the massive space station that served as the Council headquarters, he pressed his hand against the viewing window, trying to take in its enormous scale. The structure, built by dozens of different species over thousands of years, dwarfed anything humans had ever constructed. It's beautiful, whispered Engineer Park, standing beside him. The other team members, Dr. Hyun, Security Officer Bae, and Cultural Specialist Rim, joined them at the window, each lost in their own thoughts about being the first humans to travel beyond their solar system. The alien scientists watched closely as the humans took their first steps onto the station. Most new species needed days to adjust to the artificial gravity and recycled atmosphere. The humans showed discomfort, but remained functional. Their adaptability is remarkable, noted Chief Medical Officer Wu as she reviewed their medical scans. Commander Ju's heart rate increased briefly, then returned to normal within minutes. The humans surprised their hosts in other ways too. During a tour of the station's engineering section, Park asked questions that revealed a deep understanding of concepts the Council expected would take years for humans to grasp. How did you deduce the principles of our propulsion system so quickly? Asked Chief Engineer Kwan. Park shrugged. It's similar to theoretical models we've been developing. We just haven't had the materials to build them yet. Meanwhile, on Earth, the alien delegation faced their own surprises. Cultural Officer Min found human entertainment particularly disturbing. During a tour of a film studio, he watched scenes from an action movie with growing horror. You create these violent scenarios for enjoyment? He asked his guide. It's not real, the guide explained. It's just imagination, stories we tell each other. But so many of your stories involve humans facing overwhelming odds, and somehow winning through determination or what you call luck, Min observed. Is this how you see yourselves? The most concerning development came 3 months into the exchange. Humans had been given limited access to basic Council technology as a goodwill gesture. Within weeks, scientists on Earth had not only replicated these devices but improved several of them. This shouldn't be possible, Security Director Nam told an emergency Council meeting. The learning curve for new species is typically measured in decades, not months. On the Council station, the human delegates continued to surprise and sometimes alarm their hosts. During a routine maintenance operation, a pressure door malfunctioned, trapping Commander Ju in a section losing air pressure. By the time the emergency team arrived, Ju had already fixed the problem despite the dangerously thin atmosphere. How did you function in those conditions? Asked a shocked medical officer Wu while examining him afterward. Most species would have lost consciousness, Within seconds. I held my breath, Ju said simply. Dr. Hyun, the human medical specialist, explained, humans can function without oxygen for short periods. Some can hold their breath for several minutes. This revelation sent waves of concern through the council. A species that could survive conditions that would kill most council members presented new challenges to existing security protocols. During a diplomatic dinner with council leaders, cultural specialist Rim noticed the subtle tension. "You're afraid of us," she said quietly to council member Gil seated beside her. "But we come as friends." Gil studied her thoughtfully. "It is not fear exactly, more like caution. Your species advances at an uncomfortable rate. What takes other centuries you achieve in years. Is that bad?" Rim asked. "It is unprecedented," Gil replied carefully. "The galactic balance depends on predictable development patterns." As the exchange program reached its final month, both sides prepared reports. The council representatives noted humanity's remarkable resilience, adaptability, and troubling capacity for both violence and compassion. The human delegation documented the council's vast knowledge, complex political structure, and technological achievements. In his private log, Commander Ju wrote, "They're old, not just as individual species but as a civilization. They've grown comfortable with slow, careful progress. They see our rapid advancement as potentially dangerous, not because they fear we'll attack them, but because we might upset the stable system they've maintained for thousands of years." Security Director Nam's report to the council was equally thoughtful. "These humans don't think like we do. They take risks we would consider foolish. They imagine possibilities we would dismiss as impossible. Most concerning of all, they learn from failure instead of avoiding it. I believe they represent both the greatest opportunity and the greatest challenge our council has faced in generations." Neither side yet realized how prophetic these observations would prove to be. 1 year after first contact, humans had established their first colony on Mars. The red planet buzzed with activity as the small settlement grew. Earth governments had set aside their differences to focus on this new chapter for humanity. The Galactic Council had provided limited technical assistance, carefully monitoring human advancement. Not everyone in the council approved of this rapid progress. Defense Minister Shin had voiced concerns from the beginning. In a private meeting, with other worried council members, he paced the room with obvious frustration. "They've accomplished in months what should take decades," Shin said, his voice tight with worry. "At this rate, they'll have ships capable of reaching nearby star systems within 5 years. Security Director Nam, who had been more supportive of human integration, frowned. "They've followed all our guidelines. They've shown no hostile intent." "Intent can change," replied Shin. "History shows that rapidly advancing species often become threats to stability. We must act now, while we still can." Minister Shin's faction secretly prepared what they called a containment operation. They gathered a small fleet, telling the ship's commanders they were conducting a training exercise. Only the senior officers knew their true mission: to destroy the Mars colony and deliver a clear message that humanity must slow its expansion into space. The attack came without warning. Early morning on the Mars settlement, alarms blared as unidentified ships entered orbit. Commander Yoon, the colony's leader and a veteran of Earth's space program, rushed to the control center. "Council ships," reported his communications officer, "but they're not responding to our hails." Before Yoon could process this information, energy beams struck the colony's outer buildings. The protective shields, based on council technology, but improved by human engineers, held briefly before failing. "Evacuate to the emergency bunkers," Yoon ordered calmly. As his people moved with practiced efficiency, he opened a direct channel to Earth. Minister Shin watched from his command ship, expecting a quick victory. The human defenses should have collapsed immediately. Instead, they held for precious minutes, allowing most colonists to reach safety. Even more surprising, several defense platforms around the colony returned fire, damaging one of his ships. "Impossible," Shin muttered. "They shouldn't have weapons of that capability." On Earth, the response was swift and unified. Nations that had fought each other for centuries now stood together. Emergency meetings convened, military forces mobilized. Scientists worked frantically to adapt the limited alien technology they had access to. Ambassador Jun, who had led the original contact mission, was horrified when news reached the council headquarters. She immediately called for an emergency session of the full council. This attack was unauthorized, she stated firmly to the gathered representatives. Minister Shin acted without council approval. Many council members were shocked by the attack. Others secretly supported Shin's actions, but were disturbed by the humans' unexpected resistance. Back on Mars, the situation grew desperate. The colony's shields were failing and casualties mounted. Yet Commander Yoon refused to surrender. His engineers worked frantically to modify their power systems, rerouting energy in ways the council ships couldn't predict. They adapt too quickly, reported one of Shin's officers. Each time we adjust our attack pattern, they change their defenses. On the third day of the siege, help arrived. 3 Earth ships, hastily equipped with modified versions of Council technology, entered Mars orbit. Though smaller and less advanced than the attacking fleet, they moved with surprising speed and agility. How did they build those so quickly? Demanded Shin, watching the human vessels execute maneuvers that should have been beyond their capability. The human counterattack caught Shin's forces off guard. Earth ships targeted the attackers' propulsion systems with unexpected precision. 2 council vessels lost power and drifted out of the fight. Meanwhile, in the emergency council session, the truth emerged. Ambassador Jun presented evidence that Shin had acted without authorization. Many council members, already uncomfortable with his extreme position, quickly distanced themselves from the attack. We must end this immediately, insisted Senior Counsel, Member Gill, before it escalates beyond control. The council sent official ceasefire orders to Shin's fleet. Caught between the advancing Earth ships and his own government's disapproval, Shin had no choice but to withdraw his remaining forces. Chateau. Aftermath brought significant changes. Minister Shin faced criminal charges for exceeding his authority. The council offered reparations to the Mars colony and a formal apology to Earth. But the damage was done. Humans now understood that not all galactic species welcomed their rapid progress. In the rebuilt control center on Mars, Commander Yoon met with Ambassador Jun. The room still showed signs of battle damage, with temporary panels covering damaged sections. Your people fought remarkably well, Jun said quietly. We shouldn't have had to fight at all, Yoon replied. But now we know we can. The crisis had changed everything. Humans accelerated their defense programs while the Council debated how to integrate this unpredictable species into the galactic community. Both sides recognized that a new balance would need to be found, one that acknowledged humanity's unique place among the stars. 5 years after the Mars crisis, the Grand Council chamber looked different. For the first time in 12,000 years, the ancient hall had been redesigned. A new section with slightly higher gravity and different atmospheric settings accommodated the latest members of the galactic community, humans. Director Yu sat calmly at the human delegation's table. Once a junior diplomat during first contact, she now represented Earth in the Council. Around her sat representatives from 119 other spacefaring civilizations. The room buzzed with different languages as the annual Galactic Summit prepared to begin. Senior Council Member Gill called for attention. We gather today to address the Proxima Centauri situation, he announced. The radiation storms have cut off our mining colonies there. 3 supply ships have been lost attempting to reach them. For centuries, the radiation storms around Proxima Centauri had followed predictable patterns. Ships could safely travel through the system during calm periods. But something had changed. The storms now appeared without warning, trapping 50,000 workers from 12 different species. Our scientists have tried everything, explained Resource Director Min. The storms block our standard ship shields. At current radiation levels, no rescue mission can succeed. Director Yu listened carefully. Humans had only recently established a small research outpost in the Proxima system. They knew the area well. Earth would like to propose a solution, she said, standing. Although humans had been council members for only 2 years, they had quickly earned respect. "We believe we can modify our shields to withstand the radiation long enough for rescue operations." "Impossible," stated Chief Scientist Kang. "We've calculated the radiation density. No known shield configuration can withstand it." "No traditional configuration," Yu corrected politely. "But we've been developing an alternative approach." She activated a holographic display showing a new shield design. Several council scientists leaned forward with interest as she explained how it would work. "This hasn't been tested in actual storm conditions," warned Resource Director Min. "We're prepared to test it now," Yu replied. "The Earthship Horizon is ready to attempt a rescue mission." The council chamber erupted in discussion. Some representatives argued against allowing such a risky mission. Others supported trying the human approach when all traditional methods had failed. 3 days later, Captain Seo stood on the bridge of the Horizon as it approached the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. His crew, a mix of humans and volunteers from other council species, monitored their instruments closely. "Radiation storm approaching," reported his science officer. "Levels exceeding safety parameters." "Activate the modified shields," SEO ordered calmly. The ship shuddered as it entered the storm. Warning lights flashed across control panels. New shields glowed visibly as they absorbed the intense radiation. "Shields holding at 70%, called out the engineer. "Better than simulations predicted." The rescue mission proceeded quickly. The Horizon reached the mining colonies and began evacuating workers. 2 more human ships arrived to help, each using the new shield design. Back in the council chamber, representatives watched the rescue operation through a live feed. Many had expected failure. Instead, they witnessed something unprecedented. A solution to a problem their best scientists had declared unsolvable. "How did they develop this technology so quickly?" whispered one council member to another. "They think differently," came the reply. "They try approaches we would consider too risky or unlikely to succeed." When all the miners were safely evacuated, the council held a special recognition ceremony. Captain Seo and his crew received the highest council honor for their bravery. But the greater change was in how the council viewed humanity. 1 month later, the council approved a controversial new program. Young officers from traditional council species would train alongside humans to learn their problem-solving approaches. In exchange, humans would gain access to more advanced council technology. Some call this the beginning of a new galactic order, senior member Gil told Director Yu as they watched the first mixed training groups gather. "Others worry we are changing too quickly." Yu smiled. "Change isn't always comfortable, but it can be necessary. We're stronger together than apart." Across the galaxy, other changes spread. Council research teams began incorporating human scientists specifically for their different perspectives. Exploration missions that had been considered too dangerous were launched with new safety approaches inspired by human methods. Trade routes expanded as ships with human-modified shields could travel through regions previously considered impassable. On Earth, humanity continued to develop in ways that sometimes alarmed their galactic neighbors. Their population expanded to Mars, then to the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. They built ships that grew steadily faster and more capable, but they also shared their innovations freely with the Council. 10 years after first contact, a joint human council expedition prepared to venture beyond known space. Their mission would take them farther than any council ship had ever traveled. "We are witnessing the beginning of a new era," observed an elderly council historian. "For millennia, the galaxy evolved slowly, cautiously. The humans have reminded us of something important. The stars await those brave enough to reach for them." As the expedition ships disappeared into the darkness beyond charted space, representatives from 120 civilizations watched in silence, wondering what new discoveries this strange alliance would bring to their ancient community.